Well, big shakeups in the executive world in the WWE. You've heard about this, right? You've read about this. One's out, one's in. Surprising last names. They've passed 2 ships passing in the night. There are now as many Jarretts working in the WWE as there are McMahons. Did you ever think that day would come?
It's quite surprising, isn't it?
Jeff Jarrett has been named, and rightfully so, and this is probably the most brilliant thing that they've done in a long time. Jeff Jarrett has been named the Senior Vice President of Live Events. He is in charge now of promoting, and live events, folks, remember that takes into account the television tapings also, because TV tapings are live events in the place that they're happening. So he and who else in the world today has not only still the passion for it and the love for it, but the knowledge of it to be able to promote live wrestling events? Because this has been even when I was there 25 years ago, they called them market reps. Ed Cohen was the guy that was in charge of booking all the buildings and the arenas and the tour schedule and where the pay-per-views were going to be in the whole 9 yards. And under him, he had local promoters that were market reps. And the big one was Bob Collins. He was the guy that got all the WrestleManias and promoted all of those. He was the guy with the seniority and that they gave the heavy stuff to. But there were other market reps in various markets. Sometimes they would farm it out to a local person like Jack Koshik up in Milwaukee, because Jack promoted concerts and independent wrestling and metal festivals. He was a promoter. So sometimes it would be the guys like that, but most often it would be market reps, and they meant well, but they promoted every market out of the same playbook. They would promote every town, every building, every arena, everything. They would do the same things they did everywhere, right? Because they thought they were promoting the WWF at that time product everywhere. And obviously, we all as wrestling fans know that every market is different. Every part of the country was different. Every place you could get to those people in different means and advertising in different ways. At one time, this was 20 years ago, I was already back in OVW. Ed Cohen called me and had me come down to Memphis to a marketing rep and promotion and building. I think the reason they were all there was an arena meeting. But all the market reps were in town, and he wanted me to sit down for 2 or 3 hours with them and talk to them about how to promote wrestling events and be cognizant of your market and what special things they're into. They didn't know, if you want to promote Milwaukee, get the fucking Crusher to do an autograph session and the news will come out or something, because the news at that time may not have given a shit about wrestling. They had more important things happen back in those days. Or, in some way create local awareness. Find out where your radio stations are that have fans, not just the ones you want to spend money with. And, things like that. And it's been a problem because, all this time, they don't find people who have an innate knowledge of wrestling and then have them promote the live events. They find people to work in the company and then teach them how to promote wrestling. So with Jeff, who has more experience than probably anybody, not only the companies he started, but growing up in the business and all the other things that he's into, because he's got that drive, whether it be the minor league baseball or whatever the fuck. He talks to people. He finds ways to put shit together. If he can assemble his own team or whip some of them into shape, I would suggest to you that regardless of whether the shit product gets any better or not, they'll have a lot more people in the buildings because they've got someone who actually has expertise in promotion and product knowledge from every direction, in the ring, outside the ring, running the show, whatever. So, there was supposed to be a Jarrett running the WWF 30 years ago. Could it be that we're finally coming back around to where it happens?
No, I just think, certain people are getting their friends' jobs.
Well, but now think about this. There is as many Jarretts working in senior positions in the WWE now as there are McMahons. Because
Right.
we're at one each. And Jarrett is 25 years younger than Vince.